start off with a story. When I first came out to California, I got introduced to the wonderful institution that is the DMV. It said I needed to get a California license. And I went through the little book. I thought, this is great. I know how to drive, not a problem. And I go and I take my test and I fail. So yeah, I'm on the road today. So eventually I did pass. But what was funny is I eventually, within a year I got married. Right? And that's another license you have to get. But no one gave me a training book for that. Now, which one do you need more help on? Right? Okay. I need more help on marriage. And there wasn't a lot of equipment, right? So when we get thrust into management and leadership, oftentimes it's the same thing. No one really gives us a book. They just say, here, we need you to lead the team. You're the most experienced person. You know this technology the best. And suddenly you're qualified to manage, and you don't even necessarily know what that means. But we recognize bad management, don't we? Right? Dilbert?
Yeah.
Dilbert exists for a reason, because we can relate. We feel the pain. We've been there. We read it and think, oh my gosh, that's exactly what's happening. We cut it out, we put it on our cubicle and say, this is my life. How sad. It's a joke. So I was introduced in the same way to management. So my career route has been, a developer, a senior developer, MCSD, became an architect, and loved that. I love solving problems. But what I came to realize is not necessarily solving technical problems, I just love solving problems. I love helping people. You ever have that good feeling when you're delivering something, like, this feels good, they liked it, right? You care. So through the course of events, I ended up becoming a team lead and then a manager of a department. And right about that time, I realized I have no idea what I'm doing. I went to a leadership conference, and I got to hear a man named Marcus Buckingham speak. Now, the books of his are referenced in the back. But the eye-opening part was, he explained such a key point to me, and that was the very first one. The management and leadership are different. It's hard to put our hands around them, but they're very different. Marcus Buckingham worked for the Gallup organization. They're pretty good at collecting information and facts. What they had done is they had done a massive amount of research on what is it that makes good management, right? If they could figure that out, if they could distill that and give that to people, and, it'd be such a great tool and sell a lot. And they interviewed over 1 million employees and 100,000 managers to figure out what is it that makes a good manager. And we'll go through what those questions were, but one of the key things that came away with is there's a difference in management and leadership, and that is the manager figures out what's unique among his people and capitalizes on it. The leader finds out what's common among people and capitalizes. So when we think of leadership, think about presidents, heads of state, right? When they're speaking, if you listen to them, they're speaking saying, I understand all of your problems. I understand where we all need to go. I understand this is what we can all agree on and go this way, right? They're common issues. And we want to rally around that. When your president of your company comes and he speaks, you can feel it. So I was like, I want to get behind that. I wish he said something meaningful. If it resonates, like, yeah, I can get behind that. I'm putting in the hours. I'm on board. I'm going to do this. He's speaking about something that's common that you can relate to. When you think about your good managers, and I still like it, I ask questions. I think about when we interview people or we're working with new teams, I say, what's a good manager you have? Why is that? And over again, what I hear is, he knew what I was good at. He knew what motivated me. He was like-minded in a sense. I had that connection. So as a good managers, find out what's unique among the people that they're working on, and how to draw that out. So there's a couple of great tools that can do that. But keep that in mind as you look at what your path is, and as you identify. We'll touch on strengths, but there's another session later on today about agile and strengths, where we dig a lot deeper to what is the strengths movement. What does that mean? What's this research that came out of Gallup and that Buckingham put forth? And how does it help you on teams at the real team level, real hands-on? So if you're interested in working on the team lead stuff, go to that, because that's a lot more of a deep dive into this. This is more of an overview on those two areas. So we're going to focus on strengths, which is what are you innately wired to do? If you've noticed, you're different in some ways from everyone else. Doesn't matter how close you are to your friends, there's things that are different among you. If you would stop for a moment and think, when I get up in the morning, and it's a great day, I'm looking forward to it. I love this. I can put a meeting for us. What is it about that day? If you stop and jot that down and reflect for a moment, there's specific things that you love doing. I love it because they're just saying, hey, figure out how to take care of this area. Or they're saying, hey, did you really research? We need to know which vendor we should go with. I love that. I love to really dig in deep. Or, hey, we're throwing together a new team. And you're like, I love the chaos. I love starting up this stuff. Or they're saying, hey, this is the hard part of architecture. We really got to figure this piece out. And you're thinking, awesome. I love it, just focusing on something, digging deep. Those are essentially themes of your strengths that you're wired to do. If you're a good manager, you want to find out what that is about you. And there's a tool out there called the Strengths Finder. It's referenced in the back here. By Tom Rapp. $12 on Amazon. Order it for your team. As a rule, I do it with every team I work with. And this has been a couple of years now, so I've done this 100 times plus. Every time I've done it, I ask the people, is this accurate? It's saying these are your top 5 strengths. You're really good at analysis. You're really good working with people. You really love the ability to win others over. And over again, just, yeah, it's bang on. I just did it last week with a product manager, head of this whole product management group. Right on. Now, what that's going to do is 2 things. It gives you insight into the people that you work with, what motivates them, what they actually get at, where can you lean on them most, because they'll respond naturally. That helps the team understand each other as well, right? So it turns situations like I can't stand him because he's always just running off ideas. He never stops to focus. And you think, well, these are his strengths. That's actually where we can lean on. He'll never stop. He'll never run out of ideas. He's always creative. That's super. How do we channel that? So teams will help work together a little bit more in that sense. But the main thing is when you look at a manager and how to work with your teams the best, so strengths where they're going to grow the most. Think about your normal performance reviews, right? Those painful, yearly, you spend 5 minutes, here's what we like you did this year, and then we spend the rest of the hour talking about your areas of improvement, opportunity for improvement, right? Those areas of weakness, it doesn't matter how much work you put in it, you'll never get much bang for your buck. So do the same for your people. If you want to take one guy who's always so creative, you say, would you just chill on the ideas, would you just focus? You're just working against the grain of how he's wired. What you would do is much better is put him in an area on those teams where you need the ideas. Whether it's look and feel, whether it's architecture, whether it's design. It might not matter for this guy. It's just that it's new ideas. So I had a company I'd worked with, and right when I came on board, they said, you got to work with the VP. He doesn't want to deal with people. He's belligerent about it, in fact. Now this is a guy who, when they gave him a new project, he set his outlook to auto-respond to, sorry, I'm busy on this project. I'll get back to you when the project's done. I'm not kidding. He even said, call the customer on the phone, look, I already know what you need. I don't need to talk to you. Not really a people person. So what we did is strengths, though, and we took this test, and strengths were the ability to focus. Shut up everyone around him and focus on stuff. Deliberative. If you were to ask him, hey, what car should I get? You could guarantee that he'd recommend the best car for you, hands down. He knew what was the right answer. He's also competitive. So we're estimating things, and someone said, it looks like about 2 weeks. 2 weeks? I can do that in 2 days. Okay, there's a plus side to that, though, right? So rather than have him sit there and try to make him a people person, which he would never be good at, we shift him over and say, why don't you be the chief architect? Right? Focus on those part problems. Make sure when you tell us this is the way we should go on this system, is the right way to go, right? Hey, challenge the developers. Guys, I can knock that out. Come on, step it up. Lead those others as far as how well they work in design, right? You're leading on technical ledge now. And he excels. He loves it. Now he's the chief architect. Perfect. Everyone's happy. And they know where they can lean on the best, and they know not where to tread because it's just not going to get them much.